Hey guys, it's Monday, and before I leave school for the day, I just wanted to pop on and give a little update on what it's like here with ICE. I always appreciate when another school district, a teacher, provides information on what that looks like at their school. So I'm choosing to use my platform right now to just talk about not my political stance. I don't want to get into that, just what's happening. I like talking about facts, and I like talking about sometimes how I feel as a teacher. I have 48 students, and out of those 48 students, 32 students did not come to school today. Don't check me, but I think that's around 65, 66, 67% of my students didn't come to school today. The reason being, our community kind of held a protest today. Families kept their kids home. They're calling the protest a day without immigrants. I love it. Do it. One of the reasons I like it is because I work in a very large school. I work in a high school in New Jersey. It's a large district. And a lot of times, I don't see often enough us coming together and doing something unanimously. So to see so many students, families be on board with this, with the same thing, it's kind of nice. It wasn't just immigrant students who stayed home today. It was also students supporting immigrant students. And I mean, let's be real. There are some students who probably just stayed home because they heard nobody's coming to school today. With something like this, I feel like you get a little bit of everything. But I do feel on a large scale, most of them stayed home today to support the opposition of what's going on right now. And that kind of brings me to just kind of describing the overall tone and what's being talked about right now. I gotta tell you, there are so many rumors, and even I sometimes have a hard time navigating what's a rumor and what's not. For example, today I received 3 texts from 3 different people from another school within my district asking, hey, like, this happened in your school? ICE was in your school today? No, they were not in my school today. Another teacher, ICE was in your school today? No, ICE was not in my school today. Then I talked to someone who I believe to be a credible source because this person has access to certain information, and this source told me that ICE was at our school today, to which I followed up with, well, I thought we were doing a shelter in place, and why didn't we do that? Are we going to be notified? Because look, if they're in my school, I want to know about it. Like, wouldn't you? I want to know what's happening in my school. But then I hear from another person, another credible source, I believe, and they're saying, no, they weren't here. And I'm like, if I don't know what to believe, God only knows what students are choosing to believe and their families. Here's how I know students are worried, scared, curious, all of the above. Today, when I was talking to the very few students who I did have in my classroom, I'm not going to not talk about what's going on. I hate that. Let me tell you something. On one hand, I am told that we shouldn't talk about it and we shouldn't tell students what their rights are, and it's not our job, it's not our role, and we should leave that to others. And then on the other hand, I'm told that's exactly what we should do. We should be telling them what their rights are, et cetera, et cetera. I'm literally told 2 different things in one day. At the end of the day, I just choose to do what's in my heart and what's in my gut. And today, I felt that having a conversation around everything that's going on is important. So here's what kind of came of that conversation. Now, keep in mind, these students have only been with me. We're going on day 2. So we haven't exactly formed the tightest relationship, if you know what I'm saying. While they didn't have a whole lot to say, I definitely had their attention. Nobody was looking down at their laps, their phones, playing with their fingers, looking out the window. They were looking at me. To me, that spoke volumes. They wanted any information that they could receive about what's going on. We were sharing what they knew about the protest, and something I was not expecting was they started talking about all of these different places that they would not walk into because they believe that these businesses support ICE. And I quickly learned that they were confusing. Just because an establishment allows ICE to enter does not mean that they support ICE. I tried explaining to them that's the law right now, and you get arrested, you get fined, you get sued, like all different kind of things can happen if you don't follow the law. You follow the law does not always mean you support the law, if you know what I'm saying. And I let them know, if ICE comes to our school, we have to let them in. I know you might not want to hear that, but we have to let them in. It doesn't mean that we support them. It doesn't mean that we don't care about you. It doesn't mean that we're not here for you, but we have to let them in, and to keep that in mind. And we also talked about credible sources, because, there were some things that they were saying. It was clearly a rumor. And, I'm just letting them know, before you spread information or before you choose to internalize information, check it first. And the final thing, because I don't want to be on here for much longer, that I just kind of want to add is that having a conversation around ICE for the first time, this is the first time I'm having a conversation with them around it, it is hard for me, because as a teacher talking to students about a challenging situation, I'm so used to providing solutions, options. Try this, try that. There's always a way out. There's always this, there's always that. And when it comes to this, I don't know what to say. Run, hide, don't worry. Things will work out the way they're meant to be. It's really hard when you work around kids. When you see fear in their eyes, and maybe they're fearful of themselves, their families, but sometimes it's a best friend, sometimes it's a neighbor. Just knowing that we have students in our schools just with all of this fear around what their day or next day or week or month or year will look like, it just can weigh kind of heavy, because I can't think about it too hard, because I get upset because I just don't know how to help them. I want to be one of these teachers who I see pretending to board up their doors and tape their doors to keep ICE out. But in reality, who's getting arrested? There's always that one or two who will. But, most of us are going to follow the law, whether you're in support of it or not. I don't know what to tell some of these kids, and sometimes that can be hard. And I'm going to end here. And if you want to share what's happening in your school or not happening, just whatever you want to share, I'm very curious what's going on out there. So